We're starting this hour with coverage of the heavy flooding that's hitting parts of the state. Right now, evacuations happening in southwestern Colorado. People between Ouray and Ridgeway being told to get to higher ground because of intense flooding. That flooding also made Red Mountain Pass too dangerous to cross. Thanks for joining us here at 6 o'clock. I'm Drew Carney.
And I'm Corey Rose. A group that responds to disasters around the world is now in southern Colorado. The Custer County Sheriff's Office says Team Rubicon showed up just in time. They hiked down a hill from the highway and chopped up the debris to help a home that could have been damaged by the flooding. Katie LaSalle is joining us now from the Weather Impact Center. Katie, fewer chances of storms today.
Yes, it will be drier, at least across the state. We still have chances for thunderstorms in the forecast, just not really the flooding risk which we experienced yesterday. The flood watch over southern Colorado has expired as of this morning. It's partly cloudy skies as we give you a live look over our Lookout Mountain camera. We saw some significant rainfall in spots, extremely gusty, damaging winds over portions of Adams, Weld County, with a lot of that thunderstorm activity yesterday. Now this morning we're waking up to slightly cooler temperatures. We're in the upper 60s, still a little bit above seasonal normals, and later on today it's going to be a very warm late July day. This morning, though, we'll find plenty of sunshine from the mountains to the metro with some of the stagnant air. Another ground level ozone action day alert in place until 4 o'clock. So that is unhealthy for sensitive groups. We just have that high concentration, slightly more pollution out there. 93 is the expected high, and just a few isolated storm chances. Not a lot of coverage that will be widespread across the state, but still by 1 o'clock, if you're hiking into the foothills, be aware we have the possibility near Conifer into Genesee of seeing an isolated storm or two. Brief heavy rain. The eastern plains bracing for the potential for some severe weather, and our severe weather risk elevates tomorrow. I'll detail your 7-day forecast because we are bracing for some high heat, Brianna, heading into the weekend.
Thursday, everyone. 6:01 is your time for this Thursday morning. A live look for anyone taking I-70 at Havana Street. Right now, no issues to report other than that morning rush hour traffic. I am seeing heavy delays and wait times for anyone taking I-70 this morning, Pena Boulevard, or if you're heading to the airport. I just checked East Security. It's about a 30 to 35-minute wait, so please keep that in mind, especially if you're heading to the airport or dropping someone off. Let's get to your drive times and kind of show you what we're seeing across the Denver metro area. Right now, no crashes to report. Up and down I-25 from Castle Rock all the way up to Fort Collins, you still have the green light. Same story for anyone taking 6th Avenue, I-70 in both directions. And then it looks like a brand new crash just popped up for anyone taking 270. So I'm going to check on some CDOT cameras for you and bring you the latest here in just a couple of minutes.
All right, sounds good, Brianna. Our news headlines this hour start with the search for 2 missing kids. Arapahoe County says 14-year-old Peyton Mall and 11-year-old Aurelia Garcia are missing this morning. They were last seen yesterday at a home on South Truckee Court in Centennial. Both were last seen wearing black hoodies and black shorts.
A warning for homeowners, developers, and permit applicants from Clear Creek County this morning. Officials say scammers are using public records to send fake emails that look like they're from the county. Some letters demand permit payments, while others pose as sheriff's deputies threatening arrests over fake warrants or missed jury duty unless the victims pay immediately. Officials say they will never request payments through wire transfers, gift cards, cryptocurrency, Venmo, or Zelle. If you get a suspicious message or a phone call, contact the county directly before sending any money.
Police are also looking for a person connected to an aggravated robbery in southeast Denver. Investigators say this happened last Saturday, sometime after 4 p.m. at a Shell gas station along South Monaco Street. Now, the suspect we're showing you here on the screen is believed to have tattoos near their right eye and also on their left forearm. Anyone with information about this is asked to call that number we have at the bottom of your screen. That's the number for Metro Denver Crime Stoppers.
In Aurora, police are asking for the public's help in identifying a vandalism suspect. Police say they think the man on your screen vandalized a string of businesses on East Colfax yesterday morning. This was between 1 and 6 between Dayton and Florence. The suspect is believed to have thrown objects through storefront windows and glass doors before taking off, causing tens of thousands of dollars in damages. If you recognize that person, contact Metro Denver Crime Stoppers.
A West Metro firefighter is in critical condition after a 50-foot fall during a training exercise. The accident happened late yesterday morning near Morrison. 23-year-old Jarrett Leonard and other members of his crew were training for what are known as high-angle rescues. They were working on a sheer rock outcropping when something went wrong, and it's believed that Leonard fell again about 50 feet. West Metro spokeswoman Rhonda Schulting said even though this was training, the work they do there can still be very dangerous.
I mean, this is kind of a technique, a discipline that is inherently challenging, potentially difficult and dangerous, but that's why everyone trains on it. And like I said, every month they're out doing some kind of technical rescue training, whether it is rope rescue, whether it's collapse rescue or trench rescue, that kind of thing. They're always doing that because not only is there danger to obviously the person that they are trying to rescue, but there is danger to the firefighters who are performing the rescue as well.
South Metro Fire says it's looking at everything to determine what went wrong during their investigation.
Budget cuts in the city of Denver are causing staffing shortages in the police department. Chief Ron Thomas told City Council this week that many of the department's key civilian roles are empty. 9 News reporter Janelle Finch joins us live from DPD headquarters this morning with how the shortages are impacting some operations.
Good morning, Corey. We know that a lot of the work in these roles is not easy, and department leaders say the difficult job and workload may be contributing to some turnover in some of these positions. Chief Thomas says that the department is facing shortages in the crime lab, in the records bureau, and fleet garage. The crime lab is mostly lacking in crime scene investigators, meaning officers sometimes have to collect evidence themselves. He says fleet technician shortages are sometimes forcing 2 officers to share 1 car because there aren't enough working cars. The bureau that handles background checks and arrest records is also thin. Thomas says lower staffing levels here could have dangerous consequences.
Our greatest concern actually is with records ID, in that we're not able to ID someone fast enough prior to their release. And so, the concern there would be, releasing someone that may have, a serious warrant for their arrest and releasing them back out into the community.
Though there are the potential concerns for these shortages leading to warrants not being checked on time and people being released from custody, Thomas tells 9 News that he's confident this hasn't happened yet. Live in Denver, Janelle Finch, 9 News.
All right, thanks, Janelle. A heavily redacted agreement reveals how ICE gets information from TSA at airports. American Oversight is a left-leaning government watchdog in D.C. It received this 16-page agreement between ICE and TSA that shows the 2 agencies share information with each other, although the major redactions leave out exactly what is shared and how it's shared. We've reported on several ICE arrests at airports in the last week, including one right here in Denver.
Denver City Council is considering a labor acknowledgement, which would be read at the beginning of each meeting. The proposal would be similar to a land acknowledgement currently made at City Council meetings, which reminds people about the history of Native Americans in Denver. Chantel Lewis, the city councilor and mayoral candidate who wrote the labor acknowledgement, says she hopes it will be a reminder to turn pain into policy. A city committee heard the proposal Tuesday night, but they tabled it. They will take it up again in a few weeks.
RTD is making cuts to bus and light rail services as leaders deal with a $200 million budget gap. The RTD board voted 9-6 Tuesday night to approve $20 million in cuts, although it did not decide which routes, lines, or services will go. They voted down a proposal to increase fares. Now, some directors said they're worried if they don't solve the budget crisis, voters will be less likely to give RTD money in the future. Others question RTD's priorities, cutting commuter services while spending money on service for Broncos and Nuggets games and the proposed Front Range passenger rail.
If we can't make these hard decisions now, they're going to look at us in 2027 and 2028 and say, these guys don't know how to balance their budget.
I don't believe in disinvesting from our communities to send money to other communities until we've taken care of what we have at home.
The service cuts are set to go into effect no later than May of next year, although we won't know specifics until the budget is finalized.
Each Colorado resident paid nearly $5,000 in state-sanctioned fees last year. That's according to a report by a policy think tank. Our partners at Colorado Politics report that more than 30 years after Colorado voters approved the Taxpayers' Bill of Rights, or TABOR, a growing share of state spending now falls outside the voter-approved limits intended to restrain government growth. The policy think tank report analyzed how fees have affected Colorado's economy and found that fee revenue has more than tripled since 2008 and is likely to keep growing.
Another spot to cool off is closed off. The swim area at Aurora Reservoir is off limits right now because of elevated bacteria levels. The city says it will cure itself naturally, but again, when levels are elevated like this, it is best not to swim there at all. The kayaking, paddleboarding, and the boating section of the reservoir are still open to the public, and as soon as the bacteria levels drop, officials say they'll open it back up to everything.
CPW is limiting fishing in some areas along the South Platte watershed and Clear Creek. The closures will be in effect from noon until midnight. CPW says the goal is to reduce stress on fish populations during the hottest parts of the day, and that they implemented them voluntarily because of low water flow and high water temperatures.
And another hot day on tap here across the Front Range, but it will be drier considering yesterday we saw some of that flooding rain in spots. Today, just isolated storm chances. Tomorrow, it'll be back to the 90s, scattered storms with the slight risk of some severe storm activity. I'll show you where we're anticipating that ahead of the extreme heat we're bracing for by the end of the weekend after the break.
And we are tracking a crash here in your traffic impact center that's causing some major issues for anyone taking westbound 270 at Vasquez. Right now, only one lane is open, and you can see that the vehicle that was involved in that crash is sitting on that right shoulder, and more crews are arriving to the scene. So here, when I give you my full traffic, I'm going to break down some of those drive times and detours that you should avoid, especially if you're taking 270 for that Thursday morning drive.